Welcome back. These days, a lot of people can work from home. It's the norm. Numbers show working remotely is definitely here to stay. Gallup says more than 70 million U.S. employees can do their job remotely. 90% of employees don't want to work a rigid 5-day in-office work week. Only 2 in 10 remote-capable employees are currently working fully on site. But companies such as Apple and Peloton are making some of their employees come back this month. Dr. Jim Harter, chief scientist at Gallup, is joining us live now from Omaha, Nebraska, to talk about the September return to office showdown, as they're calling it. So first of all, hello. Second of all, a lot of employees are still enjoying working from home. So what exactly is it that companies are doing to keep them feeling like they are productive and happy, that engagement is there, even though they are away?
Hi, Adrienne. Good morning. Well, organizations that are getting it right now are working more toward what we'd call a coaching manager, where they have at least one meaningful conversation with each employee every month. You have to kind of break down what that means to keep people engaged in their work, because we have seen a trend downward in employee engagement starting the second half of 2021. But what these organizations do that build coaching managers is they have them in touch with their employees at least once a week, having a meaningful conversation that includes goal setting and priority setting, giving them recognition and feedback when they have achieved something, and having some form of accountability. I think a lot of organizations haven't taken the next step to align the work that people are doing with the end objective, which is the customer, and the kind of culture that they want to build overall. That can happen from a distance through coaching managers, but most people want hybrid work. And so that makes the role of manager even more complex. So I think there's a lot of what organizations can do to have a big impact on engaging employees into the future in this new type of environment.
And obviously, I love hearing what you're saying. It's all true. It's unfortunate when we don't have that set up in our own lives and offices. But are employees concerned that if they have a mandate, employers rather concerned if they have a mandate for in-office positions, that they will not be able to recruit or retain as many employees as they hope for?
In the current labor market, that's a big risk. When we look at our data and have words like requirement in a question we ask employees, they have lower engagement, higher burnout, less likelihood to stay with their organization. So in the current labor market, it's important that organizations equip managers to have the right kind of conversations. Only managers are in a position to know the work-life blend that each person not only prefers, but what works best for them in their current work arrangement. And that's an individual thing that only managers are close enough to understand. And managers themselves need managers that do the same thing, because only 1/3 of managers in our data are engaged at work. So there's that happening too.
Yeah, we need a village, and it's not just one person or one kind of employee that needs that accountability. Jim Harter, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Adrienne.
Yeah, really interesting study.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.